Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Cobeard, and I wanted to make this video for a while because taking a look at what's available on YouTube, I didn't see best practices for getting your situation set right on PokeMMO. So that led me to, taking down some notes, taking a look at some of the things that I wish I knew before I started playing PokeMMO, some of the things I wish I had, and things I wish I did earlier than later. So taking a look, just to jump right into it, the first thing I recommend before you even start is downloading PokeManager. PokeManager is a really great tool developed by a member of the community. It gives you access to a lot of great tools. The developer's name is Ryukotsky. You can find his stuff over on the PokeMMO forums, but specifically the PokeManager tool. Now, those of you who aren't aware of the PokeManager tool, what that is. So once you download the PokeManager tool, you install it, you'll be greeted with this page right here. Okay. There are instructions on the PokeMMO forum how to properly install it, where to put the exe file once you do install it, and how to get everything up and running. So you can see here on the left-hand side, you do have a launcher directly for PokeMMO. You have 4 different encounter counters. So you have the archetype counter, Montali, Gilans, and Ren. The 2 most popular I've seen are the archetype counter and Gilans counter. Montali is a really nice one as well, but it does tend to take a little bit more work to get it working with PokeMMO and different themes. Archetype counter works with just about everything, but it works really, really well with archetype theme. Gilan's counter was a project that was developed for a long time. It's called GEC. Part of that. And down here you have this download panel. Now, nice thing is Ryukotsky put a bunch of different options down here. So you have your counters. You just go straight into whichever one you want to download. He has the reshade tool, the archetype theme, and the GEC patch to make GEC work with the archetype theme, which is something that gives people some trouble. You have 3 different strings options. You have Ryukotsky strings, Shionra's strings, and Bill's strings. And then under mods, you have the Gen 5 sprites, HD battle sprites, HD reloaded, mod pack, and bullseye. Now, mod pack is going to install basically a dump of mods from the PokeMMO forum that are proven to play friendly with just about everything else. Okay. Now you obviously do have to find out which order these mods work, and but to get into it here, if we click Start PokeMMO, you'll be met with this option here. So you have True Borderless and Start PokeMMO. I always choose just Start PokeMMO. Wait a few seconds, and it'll start to boot up. Now I already have archetype theme installed, so this will load directly into the archetype theme. So my screen might look a little bit different than yours. And then you can also, straight from the left-hand panel here, launch. I use Gilan's Encounter. So once you click launch there, it takes a few seconds, and there we have it right here. Right. Don't worry about this black box; it's supposed to show up. But you do have Gilan's Encounter right here. Now, once you install the Gilan's Encounter from PokeManager, okay, you can right-click on the encounter counter itself, and under theme selection, you have all of the themes that are available on the Poke. So you can select whatever theme you like. I have the Shiny Umbreon theme. You don't have to use the same one I do, or you don't have to stick with the standard theme either. But there are many, many different types of themes available to you. You can make different profiles. You can create new hunts. A lot of different options available for you. Different modes, different tool modes. So, for example, you have this little smaller one here, which only tracks your total encounters. You have one that's a little bit larger that only tracks your total encounters, and you have the largest one, which you have your total encounters plus your 5 most recent mons that you've encountered and how many of those you have encountered as well. After that, if you go into mod management, you'll see this screen here. There's a lot of different themes. If you've installed the mod pack, We'll have a lot of different mods available down towards the bottom here, right? You have the Lugia login theme, you have the Indigo League. There's just a lot of different tools available to your at your disposal down here. And then you do have ones I have activated just so if you like what you see on my video, you can kind of replicate what I have. So you have the BS Reloaded HD. I have the Charizard flying mode. So there's a flying and then the standard where he's just standing on the ground. The BS Reloaded HD mod itself, the BS Reloaded HD Simple. So in order to get battle sprites reloaded to work, you will have to have BS Reloaded HD Simple and BS Reloaded HD or BS Reloaded HD Small or Large, I believe it is. There's another one down here. So you'll select the simple and then whichever one you want to go. Okay. After that, I do have the home monster icons. That's for your party and for your PC box. The login music to PokeMMO. I have my music set pretty low, so you probably won't be able to hear that in this video. The archetype theme itself, HD items from Scarlet and Violet, so it's a slightly more upgraded, more 3D looking item sprite. And then the Universe follower sprite with the shiny animate. So it lets you know in the overworld if somebody's follower is shiny, there'll be sparkles around it, yours included. So once you add or select to activate the mods that you want to activate, you'll click save. Now, if you added or deleted any mods, it will require you to restart uh, the PokeMMO app. But after that, we can go ahead and we can log in. For example, here, if we go into this border here is from the archetype theme, and then the 3D sprite, that's the battle sprite, the BS Reloaded mod that's available. The other thing, like I said, in the PC, so you have the Pokemon Home sprites here, which I think look a lot cleaner, a lot neater, a little bit easier to see. And again, in the summary on even in the Pokemon Center in the PC box, you'll have that 3 sprite. Okay, and that's for every Mon. Now, the reason that you want to do the Gen 5 follower sprite or the Unova follower sprite mod is because let's say you have. Let's put this over here. Let's say you have a Mon from Unova. Now, without this sprite, without this mod, will not have like this superior will not have it following you. It will just be nothing following you. Now, before you get started, and again, this is something I wish I knew before I got started Pokemon. And it's something that I did work with just for a little bit here. If you go into settings, you go to control, you can customize all of your key bindings here just to make things a little bit easier to navigate, to include your friends list, your bag, your trainer card, Pokedex, game menu, and things like that. Now, PokeMMO did a really good job for controller integration. I myself use a DS5 or a PS5 controller to play Pokemon. And it works fantastic. So you can see here, we're able to run, stop, sprinting, running, open the map. You can set your key bindings for your hotkeys and stuff. So for example here, go into menu and go to settings again, and then click DualSense controller. See here, you can set all of your buttons to exactly what you want it to be. Now I have my hotkeys set to the up, left, down, right buttons on the D-pad. I have my bag set to one of the start buttons. I have my Pokedex set to the touchpad. So all I have to do is smash the touchpad here. It'll open my Pokedex. If I hit this button here, it opens my bag. So everything is right at the tip of my fingers with a controller, which makes it a lot more easy to navigate, as opposed to using mouse and key. Now the game still functions phenomenally on mouse and keyboard. Don't worry about that if you don't have a controller or if you prefer using mouse and keyboard. It still works really, really well. In fact, flying works even better with mouse and key because you just click where you want to go and it'll just fly you there. Okay. Next thing I wanted to go over is just exploring the UI or the user interface. Okay. Just going over some of the more basic things. In the top left, you'll see a little map icon, and then it'll show you what city you're in, followed by the channel that you're on. So you'll see a lot of people if you're down in you will see people that ask for help with touch trades and things like that. And they're going to ask you, okay, what city, what channel? That way you can easily find that information and tell them directly in chat. After that is your Pokeyen balance in your account, the night, time of day, as well as what day of the week and what hour it is in game. And we will go over the clock differences for in game versus IRL shortly. Then, if you have donator status active or a Pokemon's ability, and we will go over that as well, that'll show up here. And then it'll show if you have unread mail or anything like that available to you as well. So you have your hotkey down here, your hotbar, and it is movable. So you can move it wherever you want on the screen. For all of the Mons that have HMs, so for example, my Pikachu knows Surf, Fly, and Sweet Scent. So I can actually go in here to whichever Pokemon I wanted to select the HM for. Click this, the little box next to the move. You select what hotkey you want to set it to. Now, for certain moves, it's actually easier to not use a hotkey. Surf, you just walk up to the water and hit A like you would in any of the new generation games, and you'll immediately jump on the water and you surf. Fly, if you open your town map and click the town that you want to travel to, it's already right there. Strength and Rock Smash, obviously interacting with those items in the overworld, will prompt you and ask if you want to use the HM, as well as Rock Climb. Some that I recommend, the two that I recommend really setting up on the hotkeys are Teleport and Defog. Those are going to be your two most used TMs or HMs that are not triggerable by other actions in the game. Now, another thing I wish I knew more about before I got started is breeding. Now, I'm not going to do a deep dive on breeding, but the basics you need to know is the breeding in this game is, to break it down simply, you are trading two breedable Pokemon to the old man at the daycare in exchange for an egg. Okay. And just to show you here how that kind of works, if we were to go to Kanto, it's on 4 Island. So we go to 4 Island, and we're going to go and we're going to talk to the old man. He's right here. He's the daycare man. I breed Pokemon to help them unlock their true potential. Your Pokemon seem healthy. How about a trade? I'll keep 2 of your Pokemon, and in return, I will give you an egg. Perfect. You won't get this Pokemon back. Are you sure? Yes. Which Pokemon would you like to trade? Now, just to make things easy, I'm going to use this Ditto and this Eevee just to show you what the breeding menu looks like here. Now, you can change items here. So they do have the power items to guarantee a certain IV being passed down. You do have all of the incenses in the game, and you have Everstones to guarantee nature. Outside of that, you can see here, so this Ditto has a 0 HP IV, and my Eevee has a 22 HP IV. I'm not going to go over all of the stats. I'm just using one of them to give you an example. Hover over the question mark. 3 IVs will be passed, 3 IVs will be average. So that means 3 IVs will be passed guaranteed, and 3 IVs will be in the middle. So, for example, on this stat, there's a 25% chance it's going to be 0, a 25% chance it's going to be 22, and a 50% chance it's going to be 11, which is the average. So 3 of them will be one of the parents, and 3 of them will be the average between the parents. It does show you which moves that your egg Pokemon is going to learn. And it shows here that a random nature is going to be rolled. Unless you use the Everstone, this will highlight green. Will let you know exactly whether you choose the lonely nature or the naive nature, depending on which Pokemon you equip the Everstone to. Same thing goes for, just to show you, give you an example here, this Power Belt is going to guarantee that this 6 defense IV gets passed down to my Eevee. Now, we don't want this Eevee to have a 6 defense IV, so we're going to click remove here. I'm not going to do this breed anyway, just wanted to show you guys how it works. The other menu option over here is male or female. There is a cost associated with it depending on the species. For example, for a male Eevee, to guarantee male, it's 5,000 Pokeyen. To guarantee female, because Eevee spawns at a unequal male to female ratio, it is 21,000 Pokeyen to guarantee female. Then you have the option of which Pokeball you want to use. Now, keep in mind that the Pokeball you want to use has to be in your inventory. So, for example, I have Pokeball, Ultra Ball, Cherish, Dive, Dusk, Heal, Lure, etc. You can select which ball you want this baby Eevee to have. Now, again, you have to have this in your inventory for it to work. If you don't, it's just going to choose the top one in your inventory. Do not make the mistake of not having any Pokeballs and using a rare Pokeball like the Cherish Ball to do a breed in the middle of your breed, doing a sequential breed to get something for competitive, PvP, or PvE. After you've selected all those things, you just select the button here, and you'll immediately get transferred an egg. Now, in PokeMMO, there is no steps for breeding; it is strictly time based. So that's the breeding. Again, once you trade the parents, you will not get them back. It is not like the core games where you can continue to breed those same two parents over and over and over again. And that is a way to mitigate flooding the GTL with certain things and making them, driving prices down. Which does make breeding a longer process in the PokeMMO environment, but it is much more rewarding. It's not nearly as bad as I once thought it was. Game mechanics, the game clock. Okay, so PokeMMO runs at an accelerated real life clock, or every 1 hour in real life is 6 hours in the game. So based off of that, every 4 hours outside of the game is 1 day in the game. So just to give you an idea, there are certain Pokemon, obviously, that only evolve at night or only evolve at day. And there's obviously some that only appear at night or during the day or in the morning. So it's a way to keep track of what's available. Overworld abilities. This is another big thing that they brought over from the core games. For example, they actually improved upon it. There are a few Mons that they have added use their abilities for overworld to create more interactions. Obviously, you have the synchronize ability. You have the arena trap. So arena trap, swarm, and illuminate all function the same way. What they do is they increase your encounter rate by 10% of wild Pokemon. So if you're doing a hunt, you're trying to find more wild Pokemon, arena trap, illuminate, and swarm are really, really great for that. Intimidate is one that will decrease the rate that you encounter lower leveled wild Pokemon. So again, these all work if they're at the front of your party. The other one that's pretty common, if we go over to breeds here, Flame Body, right? So Flame Body, when it's at the lead of your party, eggs will hatch at an accelerated rate. Cute Charm is another one here. So Cute Charm this is a male, so Cute Charm, if it's at the front of my party, increase the amount of females that I encounter as opposed to males. And the same thing goes if this was a female, I would encounter more males instead of females. Max Obedience tells you what level your Pokemon can be that they will still accept orders. Now, obedience functions differently in MMO than it does in the core games. In the core games, there was a chance that Pokemon would disobey you and would hurt itself in confusion. PokeMMO, if you were to send out a Pokemon that has a higher level than your max obedience, it will immediately faint itself, not be able to use it. Now, how that works in every region. This guide shows the level caps for all regions at different gyms. Now you can see here, every region, before you get your first gym badge, your max obedience is level 20. After you get your first gym badge, it will go to this next level. Now, if you get your first gym badge in Johto, if you go back to Unova, don't have your first gym badge, your max obedience level is still 20. Okay? In order to get to max obedience level 100 for all the regions, you have to complete all of the gyms and beat the Elite Four in all of the regions. So I actually recently did an alternate account where I ran through and I did all 5 regions with the same 3 Pokemon. So that caused me to bounce around from region to region in a specific order so that I did not overlevel my Pokemon and I could still use them in all of the regions. I do plan on making a video guide for what I did, as well as what I would have done better, and whether or not I recommend this strategy for anybody who's looking to do it. Story mode. First question a lot of people ask me is, what region should I start in? It really does not matter. Pick a region that you really enjoy, because once you get to the port city, you can go to any region you like, always come back. right? There are a lot of guides out there. They'll tell you, oh, Unova is the best starting region. Now, Unova is a good starting region. Do not take this as me saying Unova is a bad starting region. But there are pros and cons to each region. Start there. I personally started in Kanto. Big pro for me for starting in Kanto was nostalgia. Honestly, I wanted to play all of the regions in release order. So I did Kanto, then Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, and then Unova. If I were to do this again, I would probably either pick Unova or Hoenn. They have the most upside. Unova, you get the breeding center the earliest or close to the earliest. But in Hoenn, you get the earliest experience share item. Experience share was a godsend to me for my playthroughs, and having it access to it very, very early is a super, super useful tool. You also get access to a lot of water types early. Hoenn is probably one of my favorite regions of all time. A lot of people don't like it. Again, pick a region that you enjoy, that you liked playing, and play that region first. If you are doing a speed run, there are guides out there for it. And they do tell you which is the more optimal routes to start with, best region to start, best route, best mons to use. Speed runs for your first story. If you want to speed run it, I'm not going to tell you not to do that, but I would recommend playing the story at least one time because it's the only time you're going to be able to enjoy it, right? If you don't ever play the story mode to enjoy it, you're never going to have that. Story mode in this game is unique in the sense that you have all 5 regions available to you for all 5 stories with the same character, with the same Pokemon, if you so choose. It is a very unique game in that sense. But just know that this game is not meant to be easy. Okay. All of the gym leaders, they're a lot tougher than the original games. They have coverage moves. They have more Pokemon. They are stronger. And you have a level cap that is enforced, that is not optional. Once you get to the Elite Four, you will find that you will probably need to retrain some of your Pokemon. By retrain, I mean you're going to have to go in, you're going to have to EV train your Pokemon to be competitive with however you want to use that Pokemon. I did that with pretty much every region I played during my first playthrough. It does cost a little bit of Poke Yen to go in and buy the berries, use the berries to lower the EVs, and then go find the hordes. Takes a little bit of time, but it is well worth it and makes the Elite Four that much easier. There are tons of guides out there on how to do it. If you guys want to see me put together a guide, again, put it down in the comments below. I'd be happy to do it for you. But yes, once you get to the Elite Four in each region, you're probably going to want to EV train your Pokemon to make the Elite Four a little bit more manageable for yourselves. OT Dex completion. Probably the most important thing in PokeMMO for post-game stuff. Now, if you just plan on shiny hunting in this game, OT Dex completion is by all means not required for you. Only thing that OT Dex completion unlocks is Mount Silver in Johto, Alpha Tyranitar at Mount Silver, the Pokemon Trainer Red reruns that you can do weekly, and the Heatran raid. It does take time, so if you do plan on wanting access to those events in the game, I highly recommend you get a start on it early. Catch everything you can find early. That way, later in the game, it is that much easier for you to crawl back in and get the OT Dex done. Because you cannot go into the GTL, buy these mons, or breed these mons for them to be counted as OT. You have to catch them. That being said, for early game and for before you start tips and tricks, that's kind of all I've got for now. If I've forgotten anything, please, guys, leave that down in the comments below, guys. And if you have any videos that you'd like to see me make, or tutorials or guides, please put some suggestions down in the comments below. If you have any questions, I'm available on the Discord, on our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Cobeard90, and here on YouTube anytime. Just leave me a comment, send me a message, join the Discord, join the conversation. I'd be happy to help anybody out as often as I can. We get a lot of questions in the Twitch chat every day. Asking for advice, asking for help, or for tips or tricks or how to do this or how to do that. On the Twitch and in the Discord, all the time, and I'm more than happy to help you guys out. And if I don't have the answer, somebody else in chat usually does, or somebody on the Discord does. The community for PokeMMO has been super, super helpful, very welcoming, not like any MMO I've ever played before. It's really, really, really a great community, and I've had a blast ever since I started. Um, I look forward to doing much, much more with the community, with making more videos, small guides, things like that. Before I head out, I want to give a shout out to Ryutsuki for PokeManager, Aphrodisiac, Abin, Prince, Kiwi, Oprah's Gold Tooth, Morph, everybody else in the community. If I'm forgetting anybody, I'm very, very sorry. I've already got a pretty long video here, but thank you all so much. I look forward to seeing you guys in the community. I hope you guys have a great night, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're at in the world. And I'll see you next time.